Good afternoon. My name is Frank Blaney. I'm a conflict resolution specialist, Qigong and Tai Chi instructor. And I've also worked for many years with young men and young men of color and communities of color, talking about masculinity and healthy masculinity. And one of the things that I've seen across the board with men of all ages, men of all ethnic and socioeconomic backgrounds, is there is a reluctance to admit that we need to heal. Most of the men I know, 70% is the statistic, have experienced some sort of violent trauma in their life. Now, 90% of violence is committed by males, but 70% of the victims of male violence are other males. And so that's one level of trauma that we have. And the thing is that really no one in our society has permission to take care of themselves, like I mentioned in the video about self-care. But when it comes to men, there's an extra added pressure that us admitting that we need help, us admitting that we need healing, somehow makes us weaker. You think of those iconic images in the United States of John Wayne or the Marlboro Man, and they're not crying, or they're not saying, oh, I need to talk to a therapist, or, they're not slowing down. We have one direction and one level of energy when it comes to being a man, and that's 100% moving forward. There's no backing off. There's no slowing down. Aggression and assertiveness are the key things that get approval for males in our society. Now, that works in certain contexts. It's great in sports contexts. Sometimes it's good in business contexts. But when it comes to our personal lives, that pushing 100%, not admitting that we need help, not admitting that we need others or some input, that can radically weaken your long-term life and your long-term strategy. So there's a lot of pressure on males not to admit that they need help to heal. Men need healing. And my own personal theory, and from what I've studied in conflict resolution, is that even when you look on a global level of the problems going on, wars are started by individual men, right? It's not usually a woman that's starting some global war. Trump and the leader of South Korea North Korea are both males who are saber rattling at each other. If you can cut to the core of men and allowing men the permission, in fact, giving them the mandate that it's healthy masculinity to heal, you can start to reduce the overall effect of global and institutional violence in our societies. So a lot of this really goes into redefining what is a healthy man. So my call and my challenge to the men out there listening is that it's critical that you stop, that you think, where are your own personal wounds? How can you spend time nurturing and taking care of those hurts and pains that have been inflicted on you in the past? And don't just bury them. Don't just cover them up in drinking or drugs or isolation like men are so often tempted to do. Talk it out with someone you trust. It can be a professional therapist. It can be a close friend or even a brother. Your lover, that's another area that we get a lot of profound healing from, is being in a healthy relationship. So long and short of it, men are afraid to admit that they need healing because it's shame to us to admit that we're weak. And that's just unacceptable. We are human. We have pains and tears and strength and joys just like women do. And we just need to face that fact and step up like men and take care of ourselves and heal. So I would encourage you to do that. If you want more information on these issues of masculinity and healing, you can check my website, www.frankblaney.com, BLANEY. And I encourage you and wish you well on your own path of healing. Thank you.